Today's debate is whether or not air and wind are the same thing. Our first presenter will be arguing against air being the same.
Yeah, sure.
You may begin.
Air is plants converting carbon dioxide into oxygen. Wind is just a force. There is a difference. When wind is smacking against your face when you're in a car, the windows are down, and wind is coming through, you can't breathe. So that tells you that it's not air, because air is what you breathe. When, like, yeah, sure, it could be moving air, but it's not. It's a force of something that is just wind. It's just wind. It's not air, it's wind. Because, you know, you don't say, oh, feel that air breathing through my hair. It's wind. And you don't say, oh, I'm breathing wind. No, you say, I'm breathing air. Because they're two separate things with two separate needs and two separate purposes. Air is to breathe, and wind powers things. Like windmills and pumps seawaters out of their lowlands. And, you know, it does all that stuff. So I don't think they're the same thing. And you are
that.
Does that conclude your argument?
Yes.
Very well. Thank you. Our next component will be arguing against air and wind being different. You may begin.
Air and wind is the same thing. So first point I want to make, you said that when wind is blowing on your face, you can't breathe, right? That's what you said. That's like saying you drink water, but you can't breathe underwater. You can't. Just because you can't breathe when there's a lot of air smothering you doesn't mean that it's not air. Wind is just moving air. It's made out of the same thing. If you look up the definition of wind, it says moving air. Air that is moving. It might have a different purpose. While air, you're breathing it in, and wind can help power things. It's just moving air. The air is moving, and it creates power.
Does that conclude your
Yes.
argument?
I have a rebuttal.
She has a rebuttal. You have 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
That's like saying sun and solar energy are the same thing. It's not, because the sun isn't down here powering the things. It's the stuff coming off the sun. There's a difference. It's not the sun, because like what's coming out of my mouth, it's not Aaliyah, it's my voice. There's a difference.
That came from your brain, obviously.
But that's not me. It's my voice.
30 seconds are up. Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes.
You have 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
So, just because things come off of the sun, it's still the sun. It's from the sun. It's not the same as wind because it's the same thing. Just because you get power from the sun, it's just like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's just not.
Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes.
You have 30 seconds to rebuttal.
That's like saying when, you know, those skin particles come off of you, is that you too? Are they just laying all over here, all around the ground? No. They're two different things. They're things that come off of you, but they're not you. Just like wind comes off of air, but it's not air. It's not air.
Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes.
This will be our last rebuttal.
Wind and air is the same thing. Just, you're saying, if bark comes off a tree, is it still part of the tree? That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
But that doesn't have anything to do with wind, the fact that wind and air is the same thing. Wind doesn't come off of air, it just is. It's air. It's just blowing.
This will conclude the great debate. What do you think?